And you can see 9 islands, 9 of those 14 islands from here. Ages. That's where a defense tower was built, a castle was built, and then it turned into a settlement, a small town. And that was all during the Middle Ages. That was all. Nothing was on this island or on the islands around it. Swedish Navy, and those yellow houses with black roofs, they used to belong to the Swedish Navy, and they are still there. And you can see a small castle-like structure, a reddish building with a Swedish flag on top of it. And that small castle is not very old. It was built in the 1800s. But that flag is important because every day that flag gets hoisted in times of peace. So that is an indication that we are not occupied by any foreign nation.
This is the old city. This is what she was saying, military house. He's looking at the old city
with his VR headset on.
They had cows and sheep, and they used to have them here during the summer. So now we are reaching an area where 2 waters meet. The Baltic Sea is on the right, and on the left there is a completely different water, a lake. The Lake Mälaren, the freshwater Lake Mälaren. And you can see it's quite chaotic, and it has been this way. This construction site has been occupying this part of Stockholm for many years, but we are so patient about it. We are Lake of Sweden. It's now on your left. It's very, very large, and many important cities are located around this very lake. As we are now going to turn left, right, and you can see a red brick church with a black tower. That is the Royal Burial Church. And also across the water to the right, you can see the City Hall, the red brick building with a tower and three crowns there on the tower. That is a symbol of Stockholm itself, and that building is an architectural masterpiece inaugurated in 1923, and today it is symbol of water Lake Mälaren on both sides, how it stretches in different directions. And you can see also the outskirts of Stockholm to the left. This is a large city today, 1 million inhabitants in the city center, and an additional 2.4 million people live here. We are fish. You can use a fishing rod, and you don't even have to have a fishing permit. It's okay to just go fishing, and you can eat the fish if you want. So now we are very close to the enigmatic building, the famous building, the City Hall. It's right in front of of the bus right now. It's right in front of us, and we are not getting off, and we are not going to enter the building itself. But I can tell you that a visit to the city hall is very much worthwhile, because it is, as I mentioned, this is an architectural masterpiece. It was designed by a visionary, an architect, one of the greatest architects of those days. His name was Ragnar Östberg, and he wanted to design a celebration of Stockholm, of the Lake Mälaren, and it is full of symbols and mythology, and it all relates to Stockholm. All the material, sculptures and adornments of different kinds. And this building is constructed to look old, but it's of 1923. Look at this part, this facade, with all of those windows, specially commissioned brick. And there is the courtyard. And if you look now to the right, by the side of the tower, you can see a cenotaph. That is a fake tomb, a symbolic tomb, and it is dedicated to the founder of Stockholm, who founded Stockholm in the 1200, and where you can buy vegetables all year round. And there is a blue building here coming up on the right. This is the concert hall. And in the concert hall, that is where they have the Nobel festivities, the ceremony itself. So they gather here on the evening of December 10th, and the Nobel laureates receive their medals from the hands of the king in here. And we are now circling a sculpture in glass and steel, and it is lit up during the winter and most of the year in different colors. It's very nice. And the culture house is on the right. It's a large culture house. And also on the right is the largest popular park, the King's Garden on the right. The King's Garden is a long and narrow park, and it stretches from here to the water opposite. Nouveau Jugend style, and it has decorations in gold on the facade. So we are now in the eastern part of Stockholm. This is actually not an island. It is the mainland, the eastern mainland. So we are now turning, and we are going to cross a bridge. It has sculptures of Norse gods on it. So we see Heimdall and Freya and Thor on the bridge, and we are now crossing the bridge to the amusement island. And it used to be a royal hunting ground. It had an enclosure and nobody could come here but the royals, and they imported animals to the island just to hunt them down. And it's said that they even imported lions. Really, the main museum of cultural history of Sweden, and it's large. You can see how enormous that building is, and it has many exhibitions, very interesting exhibition about Nordic and Swedish life and cultural history. ABBA Museum, that is where you walk in and dance The next, where people had the chance. That museum is the most visited museum in Sweden. It has about one.
Vasa Museum.
This is the real thing. You know, we have all seen the Titanic, and it was very large, very dramatic. But that was fake. This is the real thing. This is 98% the Vasa that sank out here in 1628. And how is that possible? A ship that sank and has been on the bottom of the sea for 333 years. She's still preserved. That is because the Baltic Sea is dark, it has very little oxygen in it, and it is brackish. So it's so she was supposed to frighten the Poles. And the message of this propaganda ship was stir. And this was the most important language. It was the really important side. This is the main message. And with those vivid colors. And how do we know that these are the correct colors? That is because the pigment of the paint was embedded in the oak tree, so we could analyze the oak tree and bring those pieces of pigment out, so we know this is what she looked like. It's amazing, isn't it? And this is a quite different way of. I'm going to just give you some instructions before I let you go. There are many restrooms in this museum.
Vasa sank schnell, innerhalb einiger weniger Minuten. Als Admiral Erik Jönsson Krämer versuchte, auf das Oberdeck zu kommen, sank auch die Stufen. Auf dem Trossendeck hat man den einzigen Gegenstand aus Gold an Bord gefunden, einen Ring. Ob ihn Krämer verloren hat, als er sich in letzter Minute rettete? Sank. Dieser Bootsmann lag unter einer Kanone festgeklemmt. Das brackige, sauerstoffarme Wasser und der Schlamm haben seine Kleidung bewahrt. Auch die Schuhe hatte er noch an, als die Archäologen ihn fanden. Selbst seine Haare und sein Gehirn sind in der kalten Tiefe erhalten geblieben. Die Experten haben Skelettreste von 15 Menschen gefunden. An ihnen kann ein Knochenspezialist heute ablesen, wie sich die Bootsleute damals ernährten und an welchen Krankheiten sie litten. Ganz unten im Schiffsbauch entdeckt man dieses Feuerbecken aus Bronze. Damit wurde das Essen der Offiziere warm gehalten. Solche wertvollen Gegenstände wurden damals in Deutschland hergestellt. Die Untersuchungskommission vermutete 1628, die Kanonen seien unzureichend gesichert gewesen. Aber auf dem unteren Batteriedeck waren alle Lafetten an ihren Plätzen geblieben. Die Kanonen hatten das Kentern also nicht verursacht.
Thank you. Go now. I'm going to tell you this.
End of these 25 minutes, I will hope to make you place a fraction as interested and fascinated about them as ship as I am. Because well, the Vasa is truly something extraordinary. What you're looking at here is 98% information in the hood.
Igen.
stuff. Wow. Uba.
I have to look for
get a chance to look at the Royal Dramatic Theatre. It's now on our right. Those decorations and statues in gold. And on the right, you can see parts of the fashionable district of the East, Östermalm. Those high-end brands have shops, exclusive shops. And we are now returning to the city center and the shopping district of Stockholm. All modern houses. And now the shops are open. So as we turn now to the left, we can look at the King's Garden, the park, the huge park where people go to hang out, to listen to music, and there are very nice places where you can have a glass of wine and some nice meals here and look at people. And you know, during the winter, this is where we go when we want to go skating. They have a large skating rink here all through the winter, and there are lights and nice music, so it's really nice to come here. Scaffolding on the facade, and the Parliament building is the next building on the right, the brown building with a woman on the roof. That woman, the statue of the woman, she is a symbol of Mother Sweden. And the next large brown building coming up on your right hand side is the Royal Palace. It's an enormous, it's a very large building. It has 1,400 rooms and 660 of them have windows. The building itself was inaugurated in the 1750s, and it took a very long time to build. And the construction went on for years and years and years. But in those days, it was the most modern and most, it was the nicest and most wonderful palace there was in the whole of Europe. And you can visit the palace if you like. Many of those state apartments are open for the public, and you can admire the interior decoration. And up there on the hill to the right is the Stockholm Cathedral. There is a pink church up there at the end of the street to the right. And it looks a bit, well, it doesn't look medieval, but it is very medieval. It's one of the oldest buildings in Stockholm. So this is the old town. This is where the history of Stockholm began. And you can see those narrow cobblestone streets. If you look to the right, you can see all of those streets here in the periphery of the island itself. And there is a row of buildings along the waterline here, and all of these buildings were built during the 1700s and early 1800s, and some of the land elevation that exposes the basements and the foundations of these buildings to it changes the ground, so they start, and some of them started leaning even during construction. Look at the house on your right now. You can see it's leaning very much indeed. So now we are in that intersection between two waters. The lake is on the... It was such a major event to welcome the Golden Bridge to Stockholm.